Hello, my name is Jimmy Vegas and welcome to this, the fifth in a series of video tutorials on how to make a visual city in Unity 5. So this episode we're going to be looking at sorting out our subway station just here, extending it along here, adding in a few more buildings along here, as well as maybe a few other little features. So firstly, let's start off with our subway barriers just here. So the first thing you want to do is game object, 3D object, and let's go cube. Let's undo our hierarchy for subway here, and you can see that our sign, both of them are right there. So let's drag and drop this cube right there. So I'm going to 0, 0, 0 at the axis, and then drag it into a position about there. Okay, so now we'll change the name of it. We'll just call this barrier 001. Actually, do you know what? I think we'll do an easier way. Let's drag and drop this onto sign 001 and then 0 at the axis again. So it puts it dead center of this sign right here. So now what we'll do is we will, let's see, how big should we make it? Let's try, oh no, we don't want 500, we want 100 in that one, sorry. It's the x-axis, my apologies. So we need to do that 10 times the amount, so let's try 4. Hold control, and oops. Let's shift it this way, about there. So let's change the scale on the y-axis to 0.25 maybe. And now let's change our snap settings to 0.25. Change to 1/4 on all. And that should do about there. That's fine. And now we just need to change the scale here. So we need to change it the same as this. So 1. There we go. So we just need to change the size of it a little bit. So we need to put 3. Maybe too big still. Let's try 2.5. So you can see what we're trying to do. I'm trying to get it a nice barrier just there. So we need to extend it just a little more along here. So 2.7 maybe. Okay, that'll do for now. Next thing you need to do is down here in your materials folder, right click, create, and material. Oops. We'll call it, we'll just call it black 001. And over here, we need to change the color, and we'll just change it to black, pure black. So you just click this little icon here, and then change the color scheme. So then drag and drop your material onto there. And then I'm going to duplicate, hold control, press D, and drag it down to about there. That looks okay there. So now hold both, duplicate, and put them the other side. So we just need to line up our sign as well. About there. So that's hovering over and above our concrete just here. Okay. Next, take this, duplicate, and we'll rotate on the y-axis by 90. Which didn't quite work. Let's try that again, shall we? Just going to close all this in hierarchy. It's getting a bit mad. Okay, so we take barrier 5, uncouple it, drag it down here. Let's try it there, that's fine. And then rotate 90. And then bring it into position about there. And let's change the scale. So we'll change this to 4.5 maybe. I think that's too small. Yep, so let's try 5. And that looks fine. Okay. So now duplicate and drag it down to that one. Okay, so now we're not going to drag them onto our subway in the hierarchy just yet. We're going to play around a little more. So we're going to take this one, duplicate, and we'll rotate, let's see, Z or Z by 90. And let's change the scale to, let's see, what should we change it to? 1, I think. I think 1 should do the trick. And let's put it just there. And then another one, just there. And let's duplicate, drag it this way, change rotation on X, on the Y, back to 0. Drag it to about there, I think. It just shows it looks like it's actually connected to it rather than floating in midair. So we just need to adjust it to about there. Duplicate, and then same with that one there. Okay, so now you have a barrier around your subway entrance. You can adjust it a little bit more and just play around with it so it is exact. I'm not going to mess around too much or waste too much time in the tutorial. So you just take your time and make everything perfect, and that's pretty good. That'll do. So the next thing we'll do is we will sort out down here. So this step here looks like it's gone a bit funny. So we need to drag up this. So let's drag it up 1/4. So hold Control to drag it, remember? So what I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to drag it along a little more to about there. That should do. Maybe up a little more. Okay, I think that looks okay there. Right, so let's start building our subway. So this object here, Control D to duplicate, pull it outwards, wrong way. Just get the camera into the right position. So pull it outwards this way, and then pull it downwards to about there. It doesn't matter behind here if your floor is intersecting, because this area here will never ever be seen by the player. So it doesn't matter about objects intersecting. So that's that there. Next thing we'll need to do is we'll do a wall all the way along. So you've pretty much guessed it by now. It's really, really easy to sort out. Take this, duplicate, and on the rotation on the Y, change to 90. And then just pull your wall this way. Now it's up to you whether you want to stretch your wall or duplicate. It is entirely up to you. We just need to pull our roof as well, I've just noticed. So before we go any further, your roof just here, just pull it ever so slightly this way if it's still not intersecting correctly. So that looks okay about there. Let's scan around. Yeah, that looks fine. So I am now going to duplicate the wall. Control D. Pull my wall out to there. And now we need to figure out how far we need to take our tunnel. So I'll do one more. Pull out this way to about there. As you can see, we do need to go a little bit further with our tunnel to get across to the side of the asphalt. So let's do one more there. And now let's turn our camera around. And let's take this one, and this one. In fact, no, we won't. We'll just do one at a time just to make sure that we do this right. So drag it over here. Zoom in. So we are constructing our tunnel just here, so we need to align this about there, I think. Maybe one more. Let's do one more just in case. There we go. Okay, that'll do for now. So like I say, you can take your time. You can be as careful as you want, as precise as you want. So Control D, drag the wall over. Like I say, you can stretch the wall if you want to. It is entirely up to you. I'm just duplicating the wall to give it that kind of effect. Can it go over anymore? No, I have to keep it there. Right, so as you can see, we've started getting our tunnel sorted. So I'm going to duplicate this once more and drag it over to about there. Nope, needs to go over slightly more. There we go. And same with the roof. I think that's not quite right. It might be actually. Okay, so I think that should be alright there for now. So let's duplicate this wall again and put to about there. So our subway steps are going to be around here when we build them in the next tutorial. Okay, so what we'll do now is we'll quickly add a little feature to our subway. Zoom into our tunnel. Let's have it about there. So let's put in a subway closed door, just as a little thing. So if we go into subway texture down here in your hierarchy, in your asset window, sorry, and I'm going to drag and drop this closed metro door right here. Now, as always, assets are free on our website. You can get the link to a website in the description. Tell you what we'll do. Let's close this. Let's tidy up the hierarchy a touch before we do anything else. All these barriers, let's drag them into sign 001 just here, just to keep everything tidy. So, game object, 3D object, cube. And let's zero out the axis as usual. Let's zoom in. And now it's just a nice, simple drag the door onto the cube. And then let's right click, rename, and let's call this Metro Door. So now let's drag it to where we want it to go, which is inside the metro tunnel, subway tunnel, whatever you want to call it. We just need to align it into the wall. So let's change the size or the scale. So let's put this as too big, 2.5, too small, I think, maybe 3. 3 seems, oh mind you, it's intersecting the floor. So let's try 2.5 again, and let's pull it up to about there, do you think? So we just need to pull it down a touch onto our floor. That looks okay there. And let's change the size on the Z or Z to 1.5. Looks fine. So just need to pull it into the wall a bit and then pull it along to where we want it to be. Okay, so I think that'll do there, just as a nice little feature. So working on other features, let's put a quick manhole cover into our asphalt. In fact, before we do that, let's drag and drop that into Subway on the hierarchy. Okay, so now go to Game Object, 3D Object, and rather than cube, we're actually going to use cylinder. And you'll see this appear now. So right click and rename and call this manhole 001. Nice and simple. So now we're going to go into the ground textures folder just here, and I'm going to drag and drop this manhole texture. Give it a second to import. And again, really simple, just drag and drop onto your cylinder. And you'll notice the top matches perfectly to what we want here. So now it really is just a case of pulling your object into position about there. So now let's press play. It's just a simple manhole. It's little features like this that you'll find within cities, which things like that is really easy to create. So let's have a quick look down our subway tunnel, and there's our closed metro. Very nice. Okay, so the last thing we'll do is we will just add a few more buildings to our city to make it look more like a city. So if we go to building no, we don't want building textures, we want shop face textures just here. So as you can see, we've got 2 at the moment. So let's take these 3. So you can select multiple and drag multiple assets into Unity. Give it a second just to import. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this manhole 001 into asphalt. I'm going to select this building just here, because if you remember correctly, we have 2 buildings the exact same. So I'm going to change this building. I think I'll have it as let's have it as this one. So let's just drag and drop this shop texture onto that object, and let's resize. You'll notice this is currently called shop 002. So let's change the X scale to let's change it to 12. No, it's still not good enough. Let's change it to 15. Let's drag and align it with this shop. That looks fine. So I'm going to take all of shop 002 and I'm going to duplicate the whole thing. We went through this a couple of tutorials ago where you can duplicate an entire section of your hierarchy. And I'm just going to drag and drop shop 004 straight on there. I'm going to go into building textures and I'm going to drag and drop this one to there and to the one above as well. So I'm just going to zoom in because it looks like there is a bit of a gap just there, and there is. So let's sort that out. Let's pull that to about there. There we go. So now it's nice and flush. Okay, I'm going to change this now. Change the scale to, let's see, I'm going to make it a little bit taller. So 1.1. Oops. Sorry, that should be on the Y, not the X. 1.1. And this, in fact, no. We'll change to 1.25. I'm going to delete that. And then I'm just going to drag this so as it matches. So it needs to come down very slightly. Apologies, I'm being a bit fiddly this morning. Okay, that should do. And now I'm just going to duplicate that to there. Okay, and the last thing I'm going to do is, let me see. Let's make this shop just here. So I'm going to take shop 001, duplicate and move it all the way over here to about there, and then take shop 005 and put it on there. Just make sure it fits together. Not quite, just need to align it slightly. Okay, there we go, that'll do. So now I'm going to take these sidewalk textures and just build up the sidewalk just here. About there should do it. Okay. And lastly, let's align our asphalt. We just need to pull it to about there. Then align this one to about there. And then let's duplicate to there. And that one to there. Okay, so now let's press play and have a quick look at our city so far. So we don't have much going on over here because we haven't quite built that area yet. But as you can see, we're starting to have what appears to be our city. In the background, you can now see those background buildings that we created. You can no longer see the bottom where they actually have no building because they all appear behind the buildings we currently have. So on our sidewalk, walking down, you can see all the shop faces. Subway entrance right there. It looks okay. So in the next episode, what we'll be looking at is building up the opposite side of the street and then putting in a subway station just here, the steps. You can see over there, there's the bottom of our manhole cover. It won't matter too much, like I say, if you have objects intersecting, simply because on the outside it's not where the player should be able to see. And there's our manhole right there. So you can make that as big or as small as you want, it's entirely up to you. So we will leave this tutorial there for now. Like I say, next episode we'll build up some more, we'll do some more shops. We'll look into more background buildings to make it look a bit fuller, and we'll certainly put in more buildings along here and along this side. So until the next episode, thank you very much for watching, and just build up your city how and as you want.